Good morning, and thanks for joining us again. Today we are going to be talking about the sixth commandment. So, the sixth commandment is you must not murder. So, let's take one hand and use the thumb. You do not murder. This is a really short commandment. In the original language in Hebrew, it's only 2 words, which pretty much translate to no murder. Can it get any clearer than that? Well, here's the thing. It's not very likely that any of you have murdered anyone or that any of you ever will. Not many people will kill another human being. The commandment is a rule from God, and it's a law in our country. Everyone, even people who don't believe in God, can agree that killing people is bad. But this commandment is still for you, even as a kid, because Jesus explained that it's about more than ending someone's life. The sixth commandment, don't murder, is about valuing, honoring, and respecting life. Matthew chapter 5, verse 21 through 22 tells us, "You have heard that our ancestors were told, 'You must not murder. If you commit murder, you are subject to judgment.' But I say, if you are even angry with someone, you are the subject to judgment. If you call someone an idiot, you are in danger of being brought before a court. And if you curse someone, you are in danger of the fires of hell." In these verses, Jesus tells us that murder is not just something we do to someone's body, but murder can be something we feel in our hearts or say with our mouths. Jesus is saying that any action or any thought that hurts another person is just as bad as murder. All life is important to God because God created all life. It does not make God happy when we do things to hurt or destroy his beautiful creations. Just imagine, how would you feel if you worked so hard on this beautiful painting only to have someone come and tear it up? It would be really upsetting. Just think how much worse it would be if we hurt a person. In Genesis, it says that God created people in his own image. We are made to be like God. We are made to be kind, creative, and loving. When we hurt others, we are not being kind or loving. We are not creating good things. We are destroying good things. If we let hatred and unkind words live in our hearts, they will grow like weeds and turn into unkind actions. And God knows what we think, and even the secret thoughts in our hearts are not a secret to God. He sees the good and he sees the bad. Here's another verse that helps us to understand this commandment a little bit better. 1 John chapter 3, verse 15 says, "Anyone who hates another brother or sister is really a murderer at heart, and you know that murderers don't have eternal life within them." It sounds harsh, but there is the truth from the Bible. If you really hate someone, Jesus doesn't live in your heart. God's love is so big and so strong and so amazing that it can't even be the same place as hatred. If there is hatred in your heart, God's love for other people is not there. It's like 2 people trying to sit in the same chair, and it won't work out very well. Now, before you get all worried about this, it's okay to get mad at other people. It's okay to not get along with other people. Everybody gets mad. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26 through 27 says, "And don't sin by letting anger control you. Don't let the sun go down while you are still angry." It is when we stay angry or act mean or say unkind things that we are letting our anger take over. And that is when it becomes a problem. When we start to feel like we are getting angry and feel mean thoughts coming into our hearts, that's when we need to stop and we need to pray and ask God to forgive us and to give us kind thoughts about others. So we know that the sixth commandment tells us not to murder. We learned that murder is not only hurting somebody's body, but it's also hurting their heart and God's heart with the unkind things we think and say. That is because each and every one of us is created special by God, and he loves us all very much, so much that John 3:16 says, "For this is how God loved the world, and he gave his one and only Son, so that everyone who believes in him will not perish, but have eternal life."